Ladies and gentlemen, how are you? You can hear my. So I actually tried to fix the chair last night and it didn't work. So I used Loctite, I tightened the screws and it's still squeaky. Sorry about that. Hey, good to see you. Let me get set up and then we will get going. Good to see you all. Nice to be on it. Nice to be on at a normal time. It's nice to be on when it's not 2 a.m. in the morning, 5 a.m. in the morning, something crazy. Like we normally do late shows anyway, but it's nice to not be on at like crazy times. So good to see you all. Oh, my camera's weird. What's going on here? No, that's not right. Fine, that's fine for now. Good to have you all back. Good to see you, everyone. We had a show last night, midnight show. Hope you watched it. Hope you like the new thumbnails that we're using for the channel. They're a bit more professional than the one we had before. The one we had before was very basic, but the new one looks really cool. I like it. Good to see you all. Hey, Nanalana. Retired Ren, Texas is here. Mr. Evil. Amy's here. Laura T. Hey, DJ. What's up, buddy? So good to see you, my friend. Moon Shadow. Hey, Moon Shadow. Good to see you. I haven't seen a lot of you guys in it feels like we're on Monday it'll be 2 months. So it's really been a couple of months since we've done our normal sort of shows that we used to do every day. This is I still don't know what I was thinking when I went to go to the trial. I was like, we're going to be done with this in like 3 weeks, and no, it's sort of been like 2 months of my life. And due to some of the restrictions around the trial, it's just you guys haven't been able to come in at night, and I've had to put the podcast out at like 5 a.m. in the morning for a lot of you, and I haven't seen a lot of you. So I haven't seen Moon Shadow in probably about a month or two. So it's really nice to see a lot of people here that I haven't seen. DJ I haven't seen in ages. That's right. I'm wearing my NASA spacesuit today. I'm I'm a space cadet. That's what I always am. Good to see you, Lynn D, Laura T, Amy 007. I Hate Mornings was here at one point. Wendy R. Wendy R says, I'll be awake. Julie Miller's here. My friend Moon Shadow, so good to see you. I hope you're doing well. I love when I see my old friends drop in. It's been great. Yeah, so some people are messaging me about a message I put out on Twitter about 10 minutes ago. I keep getting emails from people saying that other creators are using my content from Aaron Patterson to make their own content, and they know because of some of the details that I give out are slightly different to what other news agencies give out, like more detail. So I give you the whole thing, not just like one sentence. And I'm the only one doing that. So I'm disappointed because I've tried to give the respect to other channels. Like people are like, go to this channel, use that video, but I just don't do that because I understand what an absolute grind YouTube is for people. Me, I'm just a channel creator trying to get my, try and make a living off YouTube and make content and stuff. It's a grind, and when you get something exclusive like this, it's I get it. You put it out online, people can do whatever they want with it. Okay, I understand that fact of it, but I like to have some ethics about me too. And I just wouldn't do that to another, content creator. Like I might do that to a news agency or something like that, which I'm trying not to do as much anymore. And I try and say who it's from. But if I have to take something from a content creator, I will email them first and say, hey, is it all right if I use this? Is there some sort of reason you wouldn't want me to use it? Look, I don't ask for a lot. I just ask that you mention where it came from and maybe provide a link so people can check out the entire catalog of it. We've done 31 episodes over 2 months of Aaron Patterson. It's over 180 hours of court time that have been in court, and it's been hundreds of other hours over 2 years to make it happen. It's been a massive project, and yeah, it's disappointing. It is. It's very disappointing. I thought people might have a bit more respect. That's all. I mean, I don't mind people using it. Just at least say where it came from. That's it. That's all. I've seen a couple of examples where they're like, I don't want to get too specific. I don't want to call anyone out. I don't think that's the right idea. I think I'd like people to realize the mistake and then correct it. Um, but I'll just say I've seen people like skirt around naming my channel, but then go off and name 3 other major news organizations. And I was like, oh, why? Like, if you're getting content from here, just say it's from here. Like, you don't have to be so paranoid about it. Like, what do you think? All your followers are going to suddenly come here and subscribe here? No, they only want the Aaron Patterson content. They might be here for like a few weeks and then leave. So it's not as, you don't need to be so paranoid about it. I don't think people are going to suddenly unsubscribe from your channel and go to me here. My channel may not suit them after we finish the trial. And we do a lot of other type of content when we're not at a trial. So it may not interest them. So yeah. Anyway, that's all I want to say on it. Wendy R said, pretty unscrupulous to lift your content. I don't think they lifted it as such. The descriptions that I've been getting, and I've had about 15 emails from various people, and this has been going on for a few weeks, but I didn't mention it because I was like, well, it's not that big of a problem. And then I kept getting emails, and then more emails, and then more examples, and more like screenshots of stuff, audio clips of things. Yeah, I don't think they're lifting content as such, or at least I haven't seen an example of that directly. But what I think they're doing, they're watching my stuff, writing down what they want out of it, and then using that to form their own scripts for their own channel. And that's sort of the impression I'm getting from various, and there's people that I've never met before that not regulars on the channel and things like that are emailing me saying, hey, I know you put a bunch of work into this. This channel and this channel and this channel have been lifting your information and not crediting where it's come from. So Ninchi has been struggling with it too. Yeah, I know, it's annoying. Amy Dawson says it's a problem, you should address it. Yeah, look, yeah, so I can tell you that there, besides a few people that are still sitting in the gallery of the court that may be making content on like YouTube or whatever, they are not media. They are just people sitting in the gallery. They don't have the same access. They don't have the same resources. The content you get here is the highest you'll get for this trial. It is, there is no higher access. So I just, yeah, it's disappointing. It's disappointing because I've always tried to respect other creators' content. Like, people always tell me, can you go to Grizzly and show that video? I would never do that without asking her if that's okay. Like, I have some connections to Grizzly, and I would ask through those connections, "Hey, can we get in touch? I need to borrow something. Can we get this approved?" Because I understand how much work goes into these channels. It's your life. My life has been that entire trial for 2 years. So, yeah, it sucks, but is what it is. I don't think there's anything I can do to stop it because I'm putting the information out in the public, and that's the flip side of the coin, right? You're making this content, you're putting it out in public for people to consume. Once you put it out there, it's gone. So I just got to hope that people can be honest and not be so paranoid that everyone's going to unsubscribe and come here. They're not going to. They might come watch a few videos. Maybe a few will subscribe. That's it. And then they may leave after Aaron's trial is done. Thank you. I appreciate it. And I know my regulars are amazing. I love the people who come here all the time because I see them every day. We get to know each other. It's like a family. Lovely people. Met so many friends through doing the YouTube stuff. I mean, met a lot of good creators too. There's a lot of good creators who have reached out asking me, can you look at this? Is this right? Can you verify something here? I want to make sure this info is correct. Can you please have a look at it? And I'm more than happy to do that for anyone. I can't give you any like restricted information or anything like that, anything that's like unreportable, but I'm happy to look at your script and I can tell you if you've got the right information or not. And I've done that for a few creators already, and those people did the right thing, and I'm very thankful that they reached out and were like, hey, I'm not sure about a few things. Can you just look at this and just tell me? They didn't want information. They just wanted me to tell them if it was correct. And I did, and I checked my notes, and I was like, yeah, it looks all right, but you could add this and this. Yeah. So I do that for other creators. I don't ask for anything. I just say, hey, I just want to make sure the information that's going out is correct. And they've mentioned me just on their own volition because I helped. So yeah, so that sucked to wake up to this morning. Another 3 emails from people. I don't know who the content creator is. The people who emailed me didn't mention, but they just said it was so specific that they knew it had to have been from here, because they're like, the news agencies didn't word it the way you did. There was slightly different information, and they're like, yeah. So, oh, the dramas of being a YouTuber, people. It's just what it is. Sorry to start the day off with a rant. I think we've got more important things to talk about, like this. I also woke up to this. This is insane. It feels like every summer, every USA, when we get closer out of the spring into the summertime, everything just goes bananas. Everything just goes crazy. Like, we either get protests, stuff happening in the Middle East, or some sort of attack on someone, some crazy story. And this is one of the most bonkers stories I've ever heard of in a while, maybe since last July. And you all know what that might be. But insane. Insane. Let me play a video for you in a minute. Marilyn says plagiarism. It is, but yeah, it sort of is. Top Secret says indeed. All right. I want to play this video up here just so we can all catch up. If you haven't seen this, if you haven't been watching all the 24-hour news cycles, because I bet you if you're in America, this is probably on every channel right now. CNN, Fox, local affiliates, everything. All right, let's go.
Colleague, Speaker Melissa Hortman, and her husband Mark were shot and killed early this morning in what appears to be a politically motivated assassination.
Law enforcement sources tell CBS News that 57-year-old Vance Boelter is the suspect seen here in surveillance video in the 2 early morning shootings in suburban Minneapolis. Boelter is no stranger to Minnesota politics. He was appointed twice to the governor's Workforce Development Commission, most recently by Governor Walz. Melissa Hortman was a fixture in the state capitol, the Democratic leader of the Minnesota House, and a former speaker. She was shot multiple times along with her husband, Mark. State Senator John Hoffman and his wife were seriously wounded. Both couples were attacked overnight in their homes, about 8 miles from each other, by a gunman posing as law enforcement to gain entry.
They were wearing a vest with taser, other equipment that would, a badge very similar to mine, that no question, if they were in this room, you would assume that they are a police officer.
Police say Hoffman and his wife were shot first around 2 a.m. When police decided to check on Hortman's home as a precaution, they encountered the suspect and exchanged fire. He retreated into the house but escaped on foot through a back door. The gunman left behind an SUV that officials say looked exactly like a police car. Inside the vehicle, a law enforcement source tells CBS News there was an extensive list of possible targets and the names of more than 50 individuals, including abortion rights advocates, abortion facilities, as well as the names of officials outside Minnesota. Jennifer Mayerly, WCCO News.
So you heard the affiliate channel at the end of that video, but the place that I got it from was KHOU on YouTube, and I think is it click2houston.com is KHOU. They're a great channel, do a lot of crime coverage too. If you're interested in Texas crime cases or things that happen, they are often covering it. They often are the first people that have that information. So I quote them and use them as a source quite frequently. They are very, very good at what they do. But yeah, the mask, isn't that mental? It reminds me, do you remember there was a double homicide like a year ago, and there was people that were saying they were like gas inspectors or something, and they had masks, or I can't remember if they had masks or they were dressed up in a uniform, and they shot, I think they tried to kill both of them, but only shot the guy in the basement, and then they went on the run. It's sort of like that, but even worse. You see that hit list right there. I can't read some of those things out due to policies on YouTube, but and then we had that explosion in Arizona a few weeks ago too, in front of that reproductive health facility. I mean, what is going on right now? What is 2025 doing to us? It's been, we got into New Year, then we're like, 2025 is going to be different. It's going to be way different. We're not going to have anything like this happen, are we? No, it's going to be a quiet year. And then it was like 3 days into the new year and something crazy happened, like planes fell from the sky, helicopters fell into rivers, more planes fell from the sky. It's been a very plain kind of year. The other day, Air India fell from the sky. I don't know what's going on, but it's been a weird year. And we're only halfway through. We've still got 6 months to go right now. Hey, my friend, good to see you. Hey, it's my friend. I don't know who it is. Is it Trisha or Stacy? I reckon it's Trisha. Probably Trish. I don't know where Stacy is. Probably off reading psychology manuals. That's what she does in her free time. She's a interesting lady. She probably head deep in a book somewhere. Chipmunk said it's only going to get worse. Well, I hope that's not true. It is Trisha. I only ever call her Trish, and I wonder if that's a boy thing. I wonder if all the boys call her Trish. I know a couple of the boys in her life do. Jonna says, amazing story going into Mecca. My husband is atheist, but he took me. Mecca. I don't want to offend any people, so I'm not going to comment on what I know about that because it's probably wrong. Top secret to you. I did not. I don't know where that would be, but I did not. But yeah, let me take you over here. I want to show you that photo again from this guy. So the manhunt's ongoing. They are looking for this guy, 57-year-old Vance Boelter. They reckon he's released. They reckon he's left the area now. So I've been following this all morning. There was an update recently. They put out a newer photo, slightly newer photo of this guy. Let's see if I can get it for you on the screen. They're not going to show it. Good work, Ping. Yeah. I think it's this one here. So there you go. You get to see this guy in 3 different profiles on this particular photo. So you get a good view of him. 6'1", 220 pounds, brown eyes, and wearing what looks like a cowboy hat. An Akubra. It doesn't look like an Akubra, but it looks like maybe some sort of cowboy hat. 57 years old, named as a suspect in Saturday's heinous shootings in attempting to potentially flee the twin cities of Minneapolis, St. Paul. And they say Minnesota authorities have released a photograph of the suspected gunman taken from a business in Minneapolis on Saturday morning. The suspect has reportedly a video of the suspect. I want to see that. Did they give us that? I haven't seen a video except for that where those still images came from as of yet. But they're saying here, chilling text messages suspects sent to roommates before gunning down lawmakers revealed. And he told them, David and Ron, I love you guys. I made some choices and you guys don't know anything about this, but I'm going to be gone for a while. Well, that's one way to put it. A while. If they catch you, it's going to be more than a while. Life might be a real thing. Where is his wife? I don't know. I know someone who would track down 2 people, or more people than that. But you track down someone to their house, stalk them to a location, and then it looks like he fired through that door. Like, what drives someone to do this? It's really disturbed behavior, and it seems to be becoming somewhat more common that people get these aggressive tendencies about certain topics and things. They get so wound up about it. They're like, I have to do something about it. I am the hero. He's got main character syndrome. He really does. He's like, I am Bruce Willis. I am going to go save the country from two people who, like, what decisions do these people make? Like, it's bizarre. It's a bizarre sort of ideation to have to come and try and kill two people. So let me have a look. I don't know who these people. So they're Democrat. I mean, I'm not, for or against. I don't know what these people. I'm not an American, so I don't understand what the difference is. But I understand what the parties are, but I don't understand individually who these people might be. So it's Melissa Hortman and John Hoffman, and they're lawmakers. Okay. So what do they actually do? Yeah, let's go to the BBC because I'll have to explain it like I'm 5 because I'll be from the UK. They say a manhunt is underway in Minnesota after 2 state lawmakers were targeted and one of them killed on Saturday morning in what Governor Tim Walz called an act of targeted political violence. All for doing a job. I can understand thinking that our party is the best. We're the ones who are going to save the country or whatever. And, those people on the other side, they suck. They're the worst. They wrecked our country or whatever. I get that kind of hatred for certain political things and stuff like that. But it's another thing altogether to go pick up a firearm, stalk someone, get to their place and shoot them. Like, you can voice your opinions. That's a great thing about democratic countries. We can talk about these topics and say what we want to say. That's a great thing about the Western part of the world. But it's a step too far when you're like, police said he tricked his way into the victim's home using a false badge and uniform and was even driving a car that looked like a police vehicle equipped with emergency lights. This is like a full-on Netflix series. They're like, yes, we have a $1 million budget for this operation. Like, where did he get half this stuff? They're saying the first emergency call was made at 2 local time regarding the incident involving State Senator Hoffman and his wife. Another call was placed at 3:35, which led officers to check on House Speaker Hortman. It's crazy. I can't say I've seen too many things like this, except for the one last year at the rally. And they say here, a chilling manifesto listing nearly 17 names was discovered inside the suspect's vehicle, which appeared to be disguised to resemble a police car, along with flyers for the anti-Trump No Kings nationwide rallies. Guys, like, if you want to do your political thing, you want to go to rallies, you want to say stuff, great. I think it's great to be involved in your politics and things like that. That's the way we shape countries. It's the way you have your voice heard. All those type of things. Great work for both sides. Like, I'm unbiased in this particular discussion. But this is like another level of planning and craziness. It's insane. No King. He worked for a security company. So he probably just, yeah, okay. So it didn't look like a cop car. It's probably just a security car. They have the lights on top too. Thanks, DJ. Yeah, he's still on the run. They reckon he's left the area now. That's the update I saw about 20 minutes ago. He was probably taking down the flyers. Yeah, could be. He's probably so angry. Joe Neal says, I don't know what that means. Hey, Joe Neal. On immigrants getting free healthcare. I think it's because so many supported Mangione, they think they will be supported. I look, I don't know how the healthcare works in America. I'm not sure. I know a little bit from the Mangione thing, but I don't think those two things are sort of related, if you ask me. I think Mangione was a different type of protest. It was a protest against a system which is what a lot of people consider systematically corrupt. And they deliberately knock back things and make people's life difficult, and people can't get the medical treatment that they're paid for. When you pay your monthly whatever it is to the insurance company, you get into a time of need and then you get knocked back, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're not going to pay for that." Like, what do you mean you're not going to pay for it? I need the freaking healthcare. Like, that's what I paid for the last 25 years for. So I get why Mangione and why he has some supporters for that, because I think there's a lot of people who are tired of that system, and it's gone from providing healthcare for people to just how big the profits can be and how much freaking shareholders can make. And well, I don't know. Some people say that's what America's all about. It's all about free market. I mean, I don't know, but that's the two sides of the coin that I've seen. Moonshadow said, yeah, I don't know how that works. In Australia, while our public system is open to, I think, just about everyone, but not if you're not a resident. If you're not a resident, they'll charge you. They'll fix you. They'll give you healthcare, but they will absolutely charge you through the nose like America. They will charge you every cent if you're not a citizen in Australia. If you're a citizen here, um, there's there's a lot of things with the healthcare in Australia. Don't let anyone tell you in Australia that we have some sort of idyllic, something that we should be aimed for. It is broken right now in Australia. Broken. The healthcare system in Australia is broken. It's been broken since probably the pandemic, but probably even before that, it was degrading. It's just shit right now. It's terrible. Like you all know my personal story with Mrs. Ping. Waited a year and they did nothing, almost killed her, and still flapping around now doing nothing. And we have to find other options. I'm telling you, the public healthcare in Australia is starting to crumble because it's not getting investment. The government's not topping it up properly. Local government's not helping. There's a lot of different things to it. So don't let anyone tell you that Australia is some sort of, idealistic example that we should all aim for. It's got a lot of problems. So I get the frustration with the medical system. Chipmunk said it's not good, Ping. Doctors don't do that. Are you telling me about doctors that don't do their best? They almost killed Mrs. Ping. Are you serious? Like, yeah, I get it. It happens. Gail said I got Medicare when I was there for free. I think it's changed. I'm sure of it. I've heard of tourists getting like massive bills for things because they either didn't have insurance cover when they came here, like travel insurance, and things like that. I mean, they will fix you, but I've heard they will. It depends, but I've heard they will charge you for it. Hey, Mimi. Mimi says our healthcare stinks. I've been sick for 3 years, been hospitalized, tons of tests, doctors, specialists, and still no answers. All I get is all tests can be false negative or false positive. That must be very frustrating. As someone who went through a year of tests with Mrs. Ping constantly, that's all they did. We want to do another test. We want to do another test. We want to do this. We want to try this thing. We want to do this kind of like exploratory thing. We want to have this kind of, camera or whatever. And they just kept recycling it like every 3 months. It'd be like, let's do it again. Let's do it again. And we'll do it again. But never actually find a solution, even though they knew what the problem was. They would just keep ordering these tests like over and over again. And basically, she almost died. She withered away and couldn't eat or drink. And they were just like, yes, that's fine. We're happy with that. So I have my own issues with the healthcare system. Hey, Heather, how are you? Jonas said they didn't know what to do, those doctors. No, they had no idea. It's funny. I'll tell you something interesting about that. Their opinion of what was wrong, and I won't tell you exactly what was wrong, their opinion of it was completely wrong. 1000% wrong. When she had the surgery, we got confirmation that their diagnosis was 1000% wrong. It was not even close. Not even close to what the problem was. So if she had had the surgery with them, they would have opened her up and gone, what are we like this? What? This is not right. This is not what we're looking for. Yeah, they were wrong. 100% wrong. Wendy R said testing like that just runs up the bills. Yeah, it's crazy. Actually, she just messaged. She got jelly for the first time today, and she's like, "Oh, they gave me orange jelly, the worst jelly." And I'm like, "I'm sorry, girl. I'll ask them to give you the berry flavor tomorrow." Chipmunk says a lot of people in the US have Lyme disease, and they can't. I don't know about that. I don't know anything about what that is. Yeah, it's been a interesting time. All right, let's keep going with this. No more personal stories. Let's talk about this manhunt. Sorry, guys. I reckon I might be coming down. I'm always coming down with a cold. I think every all winter. Let's see. What's our latest update? CNN. What do they tell us? Oh, they have the. Is this the 911? Oh, dispatch. They said it was a code 3 in Champlain. Standby on possible GSW's gunshot wound. Sounds like there may be 2 patients, and they're discussing it. Code 3 to Mercy with 1 female victim, 3 GSW, 3 gunshot wounds to that lady. Holy crap! Can you notify Mercy of our patients? So that when you get notified like that, it normally means that they need someone prepped for surgery like that. They need to go straight into theater. They're trying to get like an operating room open. They say, please advise Mercy, we have a older male, multiple GSW gunshot wound. More than an hour later, emergency personnel shared details with dispatchers about the victims in Brooklyn Park, Minnesota, at the home of Rep. Melissa Hortman and her husband, Mark. Both Hortman and her husband died from the shooting. Damn. I mean, you can hate people for their ideology. You can hate people for their political party. That's fine. Like that's the game of politics. Like, there's always one side against the other. So that's like a natural thing that's always going to happen. But when you pick up a gun, go to someone's home and fire through the door and kill people, that's like a different thing. Ping's more of the person is like, make the change that you want to see by actually getting involved in politics, like go to rallies, become part of organizations that try and make the changes to laws that you want to be a part of or you think need to be changed. Be an active participant, not this type of active participant, but like get involved in your local. They have like these groups that try and get changes made to the city or the federal or whatever. That's the way I like to do things because I think that is real change, not just trying to erase someone from the face of the earth. I mean, that is some sort of change, but it's also we consider it murder. So Heather says the skill of diagnosing seems to be absent these days. Yeah, I agree with you. No, we're not going to talk about mosques. Take anger out in a positive manner. I agree with you. Good to see you, Mimi, by the way. Things are out of control. I don't know if things are out of control, but there seems to be a lot of negative things happening. Carolina says, I'm just sitting here holding info because I'm afraid you'll think I'm doing it for the politics. Are you doing it for the politics? I reckon you might be. No, what is it? You can tell me. It's all right. I'm pretty chill out tonight. Julie says, Chat GBT is fabulous diagnosis if you upload your tests and symptoms. I wouldn't be uploading anything to Chat GPT that was like personalized because everything you upload into Chat GPT, doesn't it get fed back into the algorithm to then help other people? Like that's sort of how it works. It pulls information and then it learns. It's like what they call like language modeling, and it learns from the inputs it gets. So anything you put into Chat GPT will then end up getting fed back into the system. At least I think so. And I'd be concerned about privacy issues with that. Just my opinion. I don't know, but large language models, like that's sort of what my understanding of at least part of it was. People need to stop and sniff the flowers. Okay. Julie said, just type your results and you don't have to. Okay, as long as you're not uploading like medical files from your doctor, like I wouldn't suggest doing that on any kind of connected device ever. I think that would be a really bad idea. As someone who comes from cybersecurity, I don't think that would be smart. But if you're just uploading general things, I guess that's no problem. Minnesota a shooting suspect needed help, his friend says. No, are you sure about that? Are you sure? Thank you, Captain Obvious. We appreciate your contributions to this discussion. What else does he need? Because I'm concerned that you're keeping details from us that, like, we all need to know. Julie Miller says it prints your summary for the doctor. That's really cool. No kidding, I know. Thank you, Captain Obvious, for your service to the country. We appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, that guy's probably traumatized anyway. He's probably having a bad day, I'd say. So let's not judge him too much on what he says. They're saying here, although the suspect lived in the small town of Green Isle, about an hour outside of Minneapolis, he often stayed in the rented home of his longtime friend in the city, David Carlson. Carlson, 59, spoke with reporters on Saturday night in front of his home after returning from the lumber store to buy plywood for the windows, which had been busted open by a SWAT team earlier in the day. That sucks. Poor guy. They're saying he wasn't a hateful person. Are you sure? Because he took a gun, some sort of car that looked like a cop car, and drove to a lawmaker's home and fired through their door. I don't know if you understand the word of hateful. Because you need to probably hate someone to be able to shoot them like that. But he also says he needed help. Look. Yes, I agree with him. They're saying here that the suspect was a conservative who voted for Donald Trump and was strongly against abortion rights. He said that he never mentioned any particular issue with the lawmakers who were shot and said he was stunned to learn that he is a suspect in the attacks. He goes on to say, and I quote, "It wasn't the thing that defined him. I mean, it wasn't his total existence. He would talk about other things." Well, I'm glad he had some other things to talk about rather than shooting people. They say Carson said his friend was having financial problems and struggling to find work. They said he was looking around, but maybe things didn't work out. He just gave up and decided to go out in a blaze of glory. I have no idea what he was thinking. So I know this guy's probably had a hard day, but you spent 2 paragraphs telling us about what he might be thinking, and then down here told us you don't know what he's thinking. Maybe this guy needs a bit of help. I think he might. I think he needs some support because he just contradicted himself in the last sentence. Wendy R says, cannot blame someone else for his behavior. Right. We all have to accept what we do, even if we do bad things. That's what we ask of everyone in our communities. Yeah, I'd say he's traumatized. Has to be because he's talking absolute nonsense. He's 1 minute he's telling us what his buddy thinks, and at the end he's like, I don't know what he was thinking. It's interesting. Carolina said the woman he killed voted against health. Yeah, you guys said yeah. Well, look, I'm not going to get into the actual politics of why he might have targeted these people. I think we're sort of past that point. It's sort of like they're already dead. So like what does what they voted on matter right now? They're not here anymore. Top secret to you. Joe Neal. No. We're not going to go into that. No. We're not going into that topic. No. We are all friends on this channel. I don't care what your views are. I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. I don't care if you're what's the other one? Liberal something. Don't care. I don't care if you're for this or against this or you have this view on this topic or that topic. I don't care. I think we can all be friends in life, even if we have slightly different views of opinion. And I think that's how adults work in the open world, is that we're never going to find everyone that has the same opinion as we do, because we're all very different people, right? We had all different experiences growing up. We have different things that were, happened to us, or information that was given to us throughout our growing up. Our minds change over the years. You're never going to find everyone that agrees with you or has the same viewpoint. So I like to go through my life and just accept that we're not all going to agree all the time, and we're not always going to be on the same page, but we can still be friends. And that's the way I like to live my life. So I don't care what you vote for. I don't care whatever. So, hey. Okay. Hey, Willa. Good to see you. He follows his leader. That's why they're called leaders. I agree with you. I don't know enough about. I know who you're talking about. I just don't know enough about it. Ozzy says, "Yeah, I like a friend. I like friends with a diverse range of opinions, but the R word ones I stay clear of and call out their BS." Yes, I don't think I have any friends that are R word. Wendy says, "Spineless to be cruel." Marjorie says, "It all just sucks." Look, it's difficult when you have these sort of like two-party systems. Australia has one too. So in Australia, there's really only two parties you can vote for. There are smaller parties and things like that, but there's just two. There's like the Liberals and the Labor. They're sort of the only two. They're the major two parties. Similar, like in America, there's Democrats and Republicans, and it's obvious to everyone. No one ever gets 100% of the votes, right? That's never happened, because there's a diverse range of people. So just I try and remember that. I Hate Morning says, "I'm glad Mrs. Hoffman was able to prevent the daughter." Oh my god, so happy that the kid didn't get shot. Carolina said, "It's sad anyone has to die." That's right. I don't understand. Like, do we not do politics anymore because we just go around shooting them if we don't like what they do? Is that what we do now? Because I mean, I know that's happened for millennia. We could all pull examples of people being killed in politics and things like that. But is that the new way of dealing with our frustrations about whatever? Is that we just go get firearms and just go stalk people and shoot them? I'm concerned that this is how people want to deal with their grievances now. Make the change that you want to be, but like in the political system, not go just shoot people and be like, "Hey, I erased them. I made change. I changed this country for the better. I killed them." No. Like, just try and become part of that thing of change, but through other measures. Let's see. Gayla started it. I don't think Gayla started it. She never starts anything. She's a good girl. All right, let me see. Still at large. They're saying he's still at large. Yeah, let me see what the update is here. Is this no, it's not a live one. Okay. Here we go. I'll play you the update.
Tom Winter. Tom, so much information and yet so many questions still out there.
Right. Well, let's get to that new information, Jose, and that is the FBI just in the last 20 seconds has released a $50,000 reward for information leading to the arrest and conviction of Vance Luther Boelter. That's a $50,000 reward. You're looking at that photograph there. In the course of that, they've put out some additional photos, one of which is a series of photos I can show you now that are as a result of the investigation. This is him, according to images that we've obtained. You can see him there, just as described by law enforcement officials, is looking like a police officer. It looks like he's got a badge there on his chest. It looks like he has some sort of a vest, as we've reported earlier today. And then this photo, which matches a series of photos that law enforcement just released at a press conference. According to those officials at the press conference, they believe Boelter is trying to leave the greater Minneapolis area. He was last spotted in Minneapolis itself. You'll remember that these shootings took place in a suburb that was was outside of Minneapolis. So that's the latest on this. They are absolutely looking for this individual. As far as the shooting itself, we know from some documents we've just received from our Chicago bureau that, in fact, the medical examiners determined that those deceased died of multiple gunshot wounds. That's the former lawmaker and her husband. So this individual is to be considered armed at this point. That's what the law enforcement believes. The list, we are told, is extensive.
There you go. I want to ask you a question. You know, we had Mangione, and that became sort of like a martyr for some people. Do you think this guy would garner the same type of support throughout the country if he's caught alive? I wonder. I wonder what people in the chat think about that. Or do you think he's not like Mangione had clear sort of defines why he did it. This guy sort of we're not 100% sure, but I mean he had that manifesto. I mean the outline of it is there. Julie said, I saw a YouTube news piece that said he owned his own security company. I didn't see that, but someone said he worked at a security company. So it makes sense where he got the car from. They sort of look like cop cars, but they're slightly different. We have them here too. He's not pretty, no followers. Maybe that's why I don't have any followers, because I'm not a pretty guy. That could be true. Rachel said nope. Gayla says yes from people with his views, but otherwise no. Maybe. Aussie Tad said there'll be idiots who think this is okay and also claim to be into respecting the law. I don't know. I don't think there's going to be any pardoning here. Aussie Tad said it was so gaslighty. Imagine if that's the last thing on earth that you saw, is this. Something that looks like a guy dressing up like he's out of Big Mama's House 2. You know, Eddie Murphy trying to play an old woman or something, and this guy's trying to play an old man. It doesn't even look realistic. Like, imagine if you looked through that peephole and saw that. I mean, oh, I feel terrible for their last moments on this earth. I do. And it's awful. Carolina said, it's the end of the world as we know it. Trish likes that song. Flying DJ said, according to the website for his company, Praetorian Guard Security Services, he's listed as the Director of Security Patrols, while his wife is listed as the President and CEO. So they basically own the company, in other words. Yeah. Well. I don't think Mrs. Ping would be happy if you said those type of things, but I know they pardoned those white collar people. They're involved in some financial scam in Carolina. It was a few weeks ago. I've been trapped in a for people who might be watching and that they're not been here before. I've been trapped in a 8-week trial in Victoria, Australia. So I've sort of, you know, been a little like this for about 8 weeks because we've just been in the courtroom for 8 weeks. So I've seen some things when I've had time and breaks, but other times I've not been able to. Glitter says he owns his own security company. Let me have a look. Praetorian Guard. Yeah. Praetorian Guard. Well, many people must have searched it because it came up in my suggested results. All right. Have they pulled the website? Did they have a website? That's what I'm trying to find out. Yeah, I'm going to go to Reuters in a second, but I just want to... Sorry, the chair. I'm going to get a new chair, I promise. Website. Here, I found it. So this is the website here. Sorry, it's very white. I'm sorry about that. I know some people watching at night get like bright light from their phone or computer screen when we have a white background. Let's see, membership team. Oh, there he is. That's where they got the bloody photo from. Is that his wife, Jenny? I'm guessing they're going to be talking to Jenny for a while. They're going to be talking probably to Todd too. Todd's probably in an interview room with the FBI right now, or Homeland Security, one or the other. Vance said he's been involved with the security situations. He has today in Eastern Europe, Africa, North America, and the Middle East, including the West Bank, southern Lebanon, and the Gaza Strip. He brings a great security aspect forged by both many on the ground experiences combined with training by both private security firms and people in the US military. He has worked for the largest US oil refining company, the world's largest food company based in Switzerland, and the world's largest convenience retailer based in Japan. That's 7-Eleven. We all know that. So basically, this guy's a 7-Eleven security guard. Is that what he's trying to say? There's a lot of things in his profile here. He likes the word world's largest, doesn't he? Like, the world's largest food company based in Switzerland. The world's largest convenience retailer. He likes to big note himself. Why can't you just say you worked as a security consultant for 7-Eleven in Japan? The world's largest. It's funny. I don't know why they use that wording. It's strange. The world's largest food-based company in Switzerland. Yeah. SP Mama said, I just rewatched Hidden True Crimes take on the mushroom murders. This was before she was charged. So is it okay to... No. So the way it works is you can't speculate at all. And there's actually there's part of the subjudice thing where they don't want you linking back to old coverage. I don't think that applies to Lauren Matthias, but because she's American. But if you're not supposed to, once the trial is underway, you're not supposed to link back to old coverage that may have incorrect information that changes during the trial. Because when you go to trial, a lot of the veil is lifted and you start finding out a lot of information very quickly. That information may be contrary to what you heard early in reporting, because oftentimes early reporting is not 100% accurate because it's coming from different sources. And, this guy said something and I spoke to a cop over here. So it's often not fully correct. So they don't like you linking back to previous coverage like that. So yeah. Basically, as soon as we get a verdict, as soon as we get that verdict, you can talk about whatever you want. You can talk about whatever you want. If you want to say whatever, I'm actually hoping that I can link up with Lauren Matthias, but I don't know if she's willing to do it or not. I sent them an email a few weeks ago, hoping that we might be able to do something, because I'd like to hear their point of view on some of the information, but I haven't heard anything back as of yet. But yeah, there's your explanation for how that works. Yeah. What? This guy was? He was working part-time for the coroner duty, transporting bodies and giving eyeballs for research. This guy's weird. He was transporting dead bodies for funeral homes and giving dead eyeballs for research. So he dealt in body parts too. Maybe he's like desensitized. You read this background information, and he worked on like the West Bank, in Gaza, the Middle East, other places. I wonder if this guy has just been so, well, I don't know if it's true. He often likes to tell people he worked for the world's largest convenience store company and the world's largest food company based in Switzerland. So I don't know how much of his bio is true, but if he's actually been on the ground in these situations, maybe this guy's like mentally messed up from what he's seen over that time. That maybe like from seeing like people be shot, blown up, killed, that type of thing. Don't know if it is true because it sounds like his bio was written by a 16-year-old for a report in term 4 looking looking to get grades, and they just kept adding the same thing that they know their teacher likes at the end. They're like, my teacher likes when I use world's largest, so I'm going to do that. SP Mama said, I can't wait for your 10 episodes. I think she will be. She wanted to cover this case. Well, I'd love to work with Lauren. I will see. I don't want to pressurize her into accepting something that they don't want to do. But yes, I would happily work with Lauren Matthias if she wanted to. And we could do something when a verdict is in. Happily work with the both of them. Right. They don't have to. No, that's not what the user was asking. The user was asking if they could comment on it in this chat, if they could give their thoughts in this chat. I'm Australian and Victorian, and I have to abide by those rules. So, yes, she was saying, I watched Lauren Matthias. She did a video before whatever. I want to speculate in the chat. And then no, you can't, because this is my channel. I'm Victorian. I'm in the courthouse. I'm required to abide by the sub judice laws, and so yeah, no. But yes, Lauren Matthias can say whatever she wants. Well, she can't, but I would love to see the Supreme Court try to extradite Lauren Matthias from America. That would not go well for anyone, I don't think. Yeah, I have to follow the rules for now. For now, two more weeks, guys. 2 more weeks, and then we can do the 10-part podcast. I wrote episodes 3 and 4 last night, so we're getting there. We now have 4 episodes written. Yeah, it'll be good. Yeah, it'll be good. All right, let's get going. We got more trial on Monday. It's nice to talk about something that isn't Aaron Patterson for a little while. Hey, stop that. Let's see. 14 minutes. No. All right, let's go here. I wanted to see if our news has picked it up yet. I don't see it. It's weird. Maybe because it's a weekend. So in Australia, it is Sunday right now, and I don't see an update here. They did one on the protest, but not on this particular case, which is interesting. What else they got here? Let's have a look. Let's refresh. What do they know? Massive search is underway for a 57-year-old Minnesota man accused of fatally shooting Democrat lawmaker Melissa Hortman and her husband and injuring a second Democratic lawmaker and his wife in a separate politically motivated shooting. The other person is State Senator Hoffman and his wife Yvette. And they say here they were severely injured. They remain hospitalized and their conditions are not immediately available. That's terrible. Wounded lawmaker's neighbor recalls hearing gunshots. Really? So their next door neighbor is called Clarence. He said he heard the moment his neighbors were shot. It was around 2 a.m. While he was awake watching television, he heard the pow pow of gunshots. He told NBC News he rushed to wake up and tell his wife that someone might have been shot and that he was going outside. So you hear gunfire, think someone may have been shot, and you run outside. I mean, I guess if you want to help the victims, that makes sense. But at 3 a.m. in the morning? Brave guy. Mimi says, you're a day ahead. So it's Saturday, 8:30 p.m. here. 8:30 p.m. Are you on the West Coast, Pacific time? Pacific time should be about 8:30, right? Or Mountain time? Aussie Tad said, yeah, just stay clear of commenting on any Australians until the trial is over. Then we can talk about whatever. Here. Oh, okay. Let me have a look. I was going to show you something from Reuters, but if we've got something different, stupid chair. It's getting worse. So last night I actually tightened all the bolts on it, Like, someone's like, tighten the bolts on your chair. So I did, and now it's worse. It squeaks worse than before. Let's see. Somehow, all right, let's go. I'm going to take you to the Independent. Yeah, what do they say here? There is an update on the on Yvette and her husband. Apparently, they're in stable condition in hospital, and Yvette Hoffman was alert and awake, according to the nephew who spoke to the paper. Well, that's good news, right? Tim Waltz gave an update at a press conference about the two lawmakers. Look at that photo. They had a metal door. Interesting. Didn't save him though, unfortunately. I wonder if this metal door, it looks like, is it metal on the outside, then a foam filling on the inside? I wonder if it even slowed any of this down. There's that door. I'm sure you've seen it before, but I wonder if it slowed down any of the bullets at all. That would be interesting to know. Yeah, it could be. I don't know how to pronounce your name properly, but is it Bazia? Or if it's a different pronunciation, let me know and I'll correct it. So why is he in financial distress if he's the world's largest security company? I think he meant he worked for the world's largest companies. But yes, I agree. If he has so many big clients and he worked in the Middle East and Gaza and was on the ground in Lebanon, and how come he can't seem to find a contract for, like, there is always security needed. Always, always, always. Like, I know someone who does contracting for security, not working security, but contracts out companies for security. And they just can't find enough people. Never. They never have enough people that they can hire. Ever. They're always recruiting, always looking for new companies, always looking for level 1 and 2 guards, sometimes looking for VP level security guards. Like, there's just never enough people in the industry. And so I find that strange, like that user brought up, that he seemed to be so hard on for $1 that he was having financial distress. Glitter says, I agree. He says him and his wife own that company, but the website was only made in 2024. Can't have a very long life in security if you've only had a website for 9 months. He wanted to be the cops. That's an issue. There are people out there who often have some sort of like ideation, or they put cops on a pedestal, and maybe they've been rejected. Maybe they tried to apply to be a cop and they just never got in, or they didn't pass a test or whatever. That has happened several times where these people have then acted out doing whatever. There's also another type of offender where they actually sort of like get the vehicle, they make it look like a cop car, just slightly different, so they can claim in court that it's not a cop car. There was a guy in Florida a little while ago who made his car look like an undercover cop car, and he dressed up in like a uniform that almost looked identical to a Miami PD, I think. And he was pulling people over on the road, trying to get them to stop their cars, and he was doing like license checks and things like that. The cops actually figured him out, because when they stopped him, they knew he wasn't a cop because he didn't have a radio. But they asked him sort of like, "Whoa, what's a 2537?" And the guy's like, "Oh, I think that means, like, someone broke into, a shopping center." And the cops are like, "Nope, it's not even a real call. It doesn't mean anything." And that's how they found out, like, he wasn't a cop. They're like, "You've never done any training." And so that they actually got that guy, I think it was like 3 times. It wasn't one time. He got done, they released him, they got him again, and then they released him on bail, and then he got done again, and I think he finally got jailed for it. Yeah, crazy. There's people that do this type of thing. So, well, no, they said he had a car that looked like a cop car. That doesn't mean it is a cop car. It just says it looks like a cop car. Aussie Tad said, I only trust men in one uniform, a ranger's uniform, in a national park. That's funny. Could be. I mean, like I said, I found the wording on his website odd. There's one thing to sell your services and who you are, and there's another to be like, I worked for the world's largest milk provider to children in, like it just everything seems to be the world's largest. Why can't you just tell people what your experience is? I'm trained in this. I did this. I served 5 years here. Like that's way more impressive than being I worked for 7-Eleven in Japan with the world's largest convenience store company. Like you probably just worked in a 7-Eleven standing out the front as a security guard. That doesn't mean you had any influence on a multi-billion-dollar company. You literally just worked for the store owner because he needed someone to stop school kids from stealing items from the store. So the exaggeration is kind of funny. Carolina says, "How can you open the door or stop for a cop now as a woman?" I don't know. I'm not a woman. I'm not sure. I mean, I can pretend to be one, but I don't think it'll get you the answer that you want. I'm not sure, but I would say that it's not probably just not women that have to be concerned about being stopped or whatever. Let's see. What is it? That's interesting. Apparently, his roommate has been talking to the media quite a lot, and he said that may be dead shortly. So I just want to let you know I love you guys both, and I wish I hadn't gone this way. What do you mean you wish you hadn't gone that way? You could have just not fired into the home. You could have just walked away. What do you mean you wish you hadn't gone this way? There's no magic genie here that you can take you back. You could have just not made the choice to fire at someone through their door. You can't have regrets after you do it. It's not how this works. There's no buyback here. Gail says, keep driving until you get somewhere with people like a garage. Yeah, that's true. Glitter says, I agree. The way he puts, he leads me to believe he doesn't have one because that's not how it's abbreviated behind a name. Yeah, I think it was a bit BS. What happened to my camera? I look like I'm in heaven. What's going on? Oh, my entire thing went really white. Hold on. Let's see if we can fix that. No, it's all right. I'm not going to... Yeah, it went really white. I look more white than I normally am. Penguin says, the news says if a cop knocks on your door, you should call 911 to find out if they're real. They do give that advice, that if you are home alone and it's late at night or something and cops knock on your door, you can ring dispatch and ask them if there's people in the area and they're at your home, and they will tell you, yes, they're cops, we sent them, they're there for X, Y, and Z. Ozzy said, wish he hadn't gone this way. I bet he's going to blame others for making him this way. Could be. People who often take these type of routes in life often try and blame other people for their own actions because they have no self, reflection of their own, what they do. They think everyone else is causing them to do things. But in life, we have free will for the most part in democratic countries, at least for the most part. You can just walk away if you wanted to. You're the one with the gun. Like PhD isn't PhD. It's odd. Well, some people can't spell either. Aussie Taz said, did you put on the Mormon filter? Maybe I did. Lori Vallow might be here. I'm concerned. That she might be here somewhere, visiting me with her astral projection, like she uses to visit with Chad as well. That was one of the funniest things in Lori Vallow, where they're like, how come you didn't contact me tonight? Oh my god, so funny. Not funny because people died, but funny because Lori Vallow really believes that she can sit in a closet and connect with Chad via some sort of astral projection and then get upset when they don't call. Joanna says you don't have to let them in or talk to them without a warrant or proof of who they are. Interesting. We're in a portal. Actually, there is an issue. Give me 1 second. Hold on, guys. Nah, it's all right. It's okay. Sorry, no, I thought my neighbor. I've got an elderly neighbor that lives just past here. Sometimes I hear him call out and he wants help with something, and I wanted to go help him if he needed, like, sometimes he's carrying heavy stuff or he needs to get something from the door or something like that. So I wanted to make sure I could help him. Wendy R says if they want in, they're probably going to get in. That's probably true. That's what security companies will tell you. A security company will tell you you can have all the prevention in the world. You can have all the cameras and locks and sensors, but if they want to get in, they'll get in. Really? A helicopter carrying 6 people to a Hindu pilgrimage site in northern India has crashed. Jeez. Helicopters and planes just falling out of the sky all year. How horrible. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Portal in a closet. She believes that she can talk to Chad if she sits in a closet and thinks hard enough. I don't know. Why didn't you call me last night through our portal? Guys, hold on. Sorry about that. Sorry. I don't know what's going on. You aren't following. I'm never following. Chipmunk says, I think I smelled too many mothballs. It's a very random comment to leave in the chat. All right, let's go to a different one. Here, let's take you back here for a sec. Here we go. Vance. Mr. Vance, what are you up to? I want to know more about his manifesto. That's what I'd like to know. Hey, I'm going to take you to Fox 9 in Minneapolis for a second. Yeah, they got some of his background information here if you haven't seen it.
Leave, but that is what we're learning about this manifesto. You mentioned it is not a one page, a couple lists here, but again, not just lawmakers, which is terrifying in and of itself that there are lawmakers on there, but not just lawmakers. So who is on this list and what does that mean? What does that give us? What insight does that give us? That's part of the investigation.
A little bit interesting too, just kind of sidebar. It's not like abortion's been in the news lately, so interesting that, it appears that this is an issue for the suspect right now when that's not even, been in the news or talked about lately among lawmakers or anyone else. So in any case, that 4-page manifesto, police still looking for this man considered armed and dangerous. They believe he's trying to flee the area. They're asking folks to keep an eye out for him. Last seen in this cowboy hat. That on the far right there, you see him in that cowboy hat. May have taken it off by now. We don't know. In a light pants and a jacket. It's my understanding.
Sounds like he might be more mad that he was appointed to this government workforce board in 2019, and then his term expired in 2023, and then he's sort of been out of work since that point. Maybe that's what's going on. Maybe it's not really anything else. Maybe it's yeah. I think it's in the news every day. I think every single day. All right. Let me see if we have anything else. So I want to hear people's bet on, well, not bet, but your estimate on how long do you think it's going to be for them to track this guy down? So the FBI is involved, as we know. You shoot a politician or ex-politician, the FBI is probably going to be involved. Same with Homeland Security. I don't think we're getting too many more updates. Hold on. Yeah, I'm not seeing. Last update was 8 p.m. It was a couple of hours ago that they did that update. All right. Do you think they're going to find him before tomorrow? I'd like to know. Do you think that they can track him down in under 24 hours? Like, do you think this is going to be a long manhunt, or do you think we're going to be over and done with by like Monday? That's what I would like to know. Do you think he could go on the run like those ones in Canada a few years ago? Do you guys remember that when the two young men shot and killed the Australian couple that were traveling through Canada and then went on the run for, it was like 23 days or something like that? Do you think this guy is going to be one of those like really long manhunts where it's going to be like through 25 states and 135 days? He would have planned it, do you think? You think it is going to be? Okay. DJ says he had a shootout police with, yes, he did. He shot with police in that second property, yes. Oh, he's on foot? Oh, he's so stuffed. I wonder if he still had the firearm. If he was shooting at police, he probably still had a firearm. He says in that message to his friend that he might be dead later. Maybe this is going to end in a different way, if you know what I mean. I can't say the word because it's YouTube, but it begins with the letter S. I wonder if that's how this might, end up. Why send that message saying that you might be dead later? Shootout with cops. Are you trying to get death by cop, which is a thing that happens? I feel like if he wanted to do the death by cop when he had the shootout with police, he would have just stood there and let them kill him. But maybe he's going to use his own weapon. Yeah, I wonder. I wonder if they're just going to announce tomorrow that when daylight comes back out, they found a body out in the woods or something near that home. Although they did say they reckon he left the area. So Mimi says, I don't know how long. I can't believe they haven't found Decker. Didn't they spot him like 3 days ago? I thought I read something when I was in court. I was getting updates on my phone that he was spotted on camera or something a few days ago, and they reckon it is him. I thought I read something like 2-3 days ago. Yeah, it could be the way you guys are thinking as well. Yeah, like here, his friend reckoned he might go out in a blaze of glory. Yeah. And I get it. When you don't have a job or whatever and you don't have money, life is very hard. So, and especially at 57 years old, not everyone's hiring people that are that close to retirement age. Once you get past about 45, employment opportunities get a little thinner. And I get that, but it's not a reason to go kill people. Carolina said the guy is not a tough guy. He'll need some cappuccino soon. He'll need some soy. He's a bit of a soy boy. Is that what you're saying? He's a bit of a soy boy. He can't handle being out in the woods. I don't know. He says on his security site that he was in Gaza and Lebanon and he fought the insurgents. And I know I added that bit. That's not in there. Jonah says hopefully a neighbor has one of those high quality. They said they have footage of him. I'm guessing from the first house when he had the mask on. That maybe a Ring doorbell. And then maybe at the second home, I'm guessing if you're in politics, you probably have a lot of cameras around your home. Hikers? Is that what happened? Hikers spotted him 3 days ago, but haven't heard anything more. He's out in that mountain area somewhere. That guy is 100%. 100%. They said he's adept at survival skills. Not this guy, Decker, that he did that in the military, and that he's well equipped to do that. Apparently, allegedly, yeah, allegedly. We have to add that to everything, so we don't get sued. All right, let's go here. I think actually, I don't think. Are we going to get a midnight update? Oh, it's already midnight. I don't think so. I think that 8 p.m. update's probably the final one for today. They'll probably do one again at 8 a.m. or something like that, unless there's some big breaking news overnight. Yeah, let me play you some of this from the 8 p.m. update, then we'll move on. We'll go to a different topic.
Finding both Senator John Hoffman and his wife had been shot. They were taken to the hospital. Both went through surgery and are now recovering. They are both expected to survive. Now, after learning of this shooting, Brooklyn Park police officers proactively went to the home of Representative Hortman around 3:30, where they eventually found both Hortman and her husband shot and killed. But when they got to the scene, they encountered a man dressed as law enforcement and a vehicle that looked like a police squad with flashing lights in the driveway. Now, they engaged in gunfire and he ran into the house. He is currently on the run and an intense manhunt is underway for him. Authorities say this man, 57-year-old Vance Boelter, is the suspect. They're asking for the public's help in locating him. The FBI offering a $50,000 reward for information leading to an arrest and conviction of Boelter. Here's a look at that vehicle that Boelter drove last night. Law enforcement on scene at Representative Hortman's house, putting yellow police tape up around the vehicle, going through the vehicle for hours. Inside it, they found a hit list, so to speak, with lawmakers' names on it, as well as papers with no kings written on them. State officials then telling anyone planning to attend No Kings protests today to avoid them. A shelter in place was put in effect for a 3-mile radius in Brooklyn Park. That was at 5:30 a.m. Now, that was lifted until 3:20 this afternoon. During that time, SWAT teams were out in the neighborhoods trying to locate Boelter along with evidence. So here's what we know about the suspect. He has an extensive police security background. He is the director of security patrols at Praetorian Guard Security Services, a security company based in the Twin Cities metro.
That was a hell of a response that you see on that footage of all the military. Is that National Guard or military? Just like combing the street in a line with like a camouflage vehicle. I hope everyone in that area is okay. I hope he hasn't got into anyone's home or anything like that. It's incredibly sad. What I don't understand is all 4 of them were at the house. No, I think they're at 2 separate houses, right? I think there was a couple at the first house and then a couple at the second house. Not at the same house. 2 separate, yeah. Yeah, no, they weren't hanging out together. They weren't having a Friday night, mimosas or something. They were just, no, they were at their separate homes. Yeah, it's really, really sad. You may not agree with their whatever, but they did spend part of their lives serving for their communities in what they believed in. So yeah, that's what I thought too, DJ. I didn't think they were at the same house. I was like, what are they doing? Having a mini like political conference? Is that what's going on? It was like a micro campaign at their house. Like, no. I think they were just at 2 separate places, but I hope, yeah. Oh, sorry, did someone ask the time? It's about 2:00, just before 2:00, Sunday afternoon in Melbourne. Not, yeah. I mean, like I said, you can disagree with whatever their policies are, what they vote for, what they've done in politics and things like that. Great, that's what you should do. You should disagree with things you don't think are your values. That's what you should do in life. But picking up a firearm and stalking 2 different people and heading to their home with a friggin' manifesto and a list of other people that you would like to kill sort of just steps over that line from passionate person who wants to see the correct values instilled in their community to absolute nutcase with a firearm. That's that line. And he went over it. So I know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on with my camera. Why it's so white today. I don't understand what's going on with my camera. I didn't change anything. Let's see. Oh. Ugh. I'm not sure. We don't have a brightness thing, do we? Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, that was a bit better. All right, there you go. It's a bit better. Although I'm a little red now. No, I don't have a brightness thing. It's weird. That's what I was looking for. I have white balance, a temperature thing. Oh, that made my eyes go weird. Yeah, I don't have a brightness. Oh, we could do HDR. Hold on. There we go. That's better. It's not great. My hands look red. Did I misplace my halo? I must have. I must have. You know, I'm always misplacing that thing. It's always getting lost. You look tan now. I'm always tanned. It's what I do with my time off. I tan in winter when there's no sun in Melbourne. Speak to makeup. No, I don't know. Hold on. There we go. So look, I'll fiddle with it later. I don't know why it's acting like this today. It is a little white. It's very white. Something changed before and it just went doom and it went white. You like the NASA shirt? It's got an American flag on the side. Look, very patriotic of me. It's got an American flag. Yeah, there you go. You had thunderstorms all day today? Camera looks normal to me. No, it went really white before. I was watching it because I can see me. You guys can't see it, but I've got a monitor right here where I can see my live stream. And all of a sudden, about 20 minutes ago, it just went brong, like there was like Lori Vallow had visited in her astral projection portal and lighted up my room because, you know, she is Jesus's favorite. So she can do things like that. I'm the one with the dirty jokes, not you. Hey, I'm the one with the dirty jokes, not you guys. Like last night in the accordion. If you guys were here last night, we had a great joke about. I think it was Profiler said she was going to go play the accordion, and I was like, yes, that's a euphemism for something else, I'm sure. Top secret to you. I love South Carolina, especially the coastal area. I like Carolina too. I'm a big fan of South Carolina. I've been to North Carolina too. Great place, great coastal areas, the beaches, the city is great, nice people. You get a great swath of sort of like coastal, and if you go the other way, you sort of get like more mountain and foresty kind of areas. It's great. I love Carolina. It's a great place. I don't know if I'd move there. I'd rather live in Kansas, I think. I'd buy a house in Kansas. If I ever become a mega millionaire YouTuber, I'll probably buy a house in Kansas, most likely, and move to America. Because I would buy a huge property, big farm in Kansas and just live there forever. Chipmunk says, Laurie's, I don't think Mrs. Ping would come though. She hates farms. She doesn't like things that are not the city. So maybe just me. Maybe when we get divorced, that's what I'll do. Chipmunk says Laurie's portal is dark, like a deep. Wow, I don't know who it was then. I don't know who visited me. Could be angry well, that's what it looks like on the thing, right? Appointed to that government workforce development board in 2019, and then he had his term expire in January 2023. You might be right. You're telling her? No, she already knows about this. I've already told her a few times. And then she's like, I ain't going with you. She goes, I'm not living on a farm. I don't want to live on a farm. You can't get to the city. There's no hair and makeup. Yeah, she doesn't want to live out there. I do though. I'd live on a farm for the rest of my life if I could. I'd love it. I'd build one of those they have those barns that they can turn into homes where it's like multi-level inside. So you can have like downstairs like a giant living area and then a kitchen and stuff, and then upstairs is like for sleeping and other things like an office and stuff like that. I would buy one of those in a heartbeat and buy a farm in Kansas if I could. I love those things. Probably get damaged by a tornado at some point, but you take the good with the bad. Gayla says if you have that much money, she can fly to the shops. That's right. You like planets? You wanted to be an astronaut? Really? I think being an astronaut is quite hard. I think it's not easy, and I think they only take like 1% of people or something like that. Jonas says my dad lived in Huntsville, Alabama. They have a space camp there too. Oh. Wendy says when you get old, it's hard to climb the stairs though. This is coming from a guy that couldn't put on tracksuit pants a week ago and slice my eyebrow open by hitting the TV stand. So I don't know, you might be right about the whole stairs type of thing. Apparently I can't even put on pants anymore. Marlene says I just like to get what? What channel is this? I thought this was like crime channels, and now we're talking about how you have to get high. I don't know what's going on. What happened to you guys? I haven't seen you in like in 2 months, and now all of a sudden you're all on the medical marijuana or something. Hold on, guys. Oh, by the way, I saw this come up before, and then I forgot to bring it up again. But my friend Moon Shadow, thank you so much. It was very kind of you. I was happy just to see you today. I was like, oh my god, I haven't seen Moon Shadow in ages. But Moon Shadow says, always watch you. Love your channel. You are the best. Thank you, my sweet friend. Thank you so much for the support. I appreciate it. It's very kind of you. Crime and variety entertainment. Yeah, but it's pissing people off. I'm getting a lot of emails from people that are saying they don't like the mixture. They want it to be more like just true crime, just information, and that we use the second channel for mucking around. All right. Let's go to a different story. Let's see if we got an update on Decker. Because I don't think this chair, I swear, it's so squeaky. What? So, new audio of Travis Decker accused WA killer fought in court for more time. Let's watch this. Wait, new audio? I want to hear new audio of a Travis Decker. Fought in court for more time with his daughters.
It's now been more than 2 weeks since Travis Decker disappeared. The father's accused of kidnapping and killing his 3 young daughters you see here on your screen. And as the search for him continues, we're hearing his voice for the first time.
Your Honor, I think it's important that these girls get the opportunity to be with their dad. I also think that it's important for them to understand a little bit about the world.
That audio was recorded from a custody hearing in September of last year. Now, during that hearing, Decker was fighting to keep custody of the girls on weekends. He also claimed he never did anything unsafe with them. Now, yesterday, lawmakers, community members, and advocates gathered in Seattle to hold a moment of silence for Peyton, Olivia, and Evelyn, and called for stronger child safety laws and changes in how Amber Alerts are issued.
Never did anything unsafe with them, like killing them, right? Imagine if he did get like more custody rights. Those poor girls, man. This guy, they're the ones that you really got to watch out for. Like, in true crime, we always talk about people like Rex Heuermann. Rex Heuermann is scary, right? If proven in a court of law, he might be one of the most prolific serial killers ever in the East Coast of America, like for this generation. Like 30, 40 years, killing women, dumping them in Long Island. But it's he's scary, right? But he was also very sloppy, including leaving hairs of his wife and daughter in burlap sacks that he used to put the bodies in. So for a guy who went through a lot of planning and put these documents on his computer about what to look for, buy booties, look for this, do this, look for cameras, only use cash. He used burlap, which, if you think about burlap sacks, right? Yeah, hunters might use them, but what is burlap? It's spiky, right? You've ever touched one of those? They got those little strands that pick up everything. They would, if you just wiped it on the ground and you had animals or humans, it would pick up all the hairs, all of them, because it's got sort of that very coarse feeling to it, and it'll just grab everything. For a guy who did a lot of planning, he was very sloppy. Now, I'll get to my point. People like Travis Decker, they are scary, real scary, because you never know when it's going to come. You never know when they're going to just and kill. And that's what happened here, killed his own kids. And they're the ones that are really, really frightening, because they can look and almost seem like normal people. Although he had issues, we've heard from his ex-wife, but they're the ones that are really scary, because could be today, could be tomorrow, and they're hard to predict. Yeah. Yeah, like Hessian. Yeah, like Hessian. So it's that brown woven material. Yes. SP Mama says, bring them to the hot. Yeah. Right. Yeah, he had to improve himself first, and then that would have allowed more access to the children. That's the way the courts see it. They're like, yes, that's how the courts see it. Rougher than Hessian, whatever it was, it would have picked up fibers like a friggin' vacuum. And for a guy who seemed to think about all of his crimes so much, he didn't really think that there might be hair. He was like, burn the gloves that you wear when you dispose and clean of the bodies. So he thought about fingerprints inside of a glove, but didn't think about hair fibers around his home. Very interesting. For a guy who tried to plan this out, had a planning document, dump sites, this and that, got away with it for a period of time. But I'm of the strong belief that the only reason he wasn't caught about 10 years ago is because the police sucked at the time. And Suffolk County had just so many issues at the time, like corruption, this, that, another thing. There were good cops that worked there, but I mean, higher up, there was just a lot of bad management, bad, Jimmy not doing the right things. He's not a cop anymore, and now he's some loser who everyone laughs at when he walks down the street, and they're like, "Oh, that's Burke. Oh, look, that guy used to be our chief of police. What a loser!" He is a loser, 100%. He beat an inmate, a guy, because he stole from his car. Talk about a guy who doesn't understand where the boundaries are of being a cop. Talk about a guy who should never have been that high in the police, ever. Yeah, there's a lot of things wrong with him, with Burke. Go back through his history and have a look. He should never have rose through the ranks of the Suffolk County, ever. But he was protected by another guy at the DA. Marlene says, they always think they are the smartest in the room. Rex Human thinks he's the smartest guy in the room, 100%. Those girls suffered and didn't go fast. In both cases, these little girls, but also you think about what Rex Human did to those women. You read that planning document, you understand what he did with them over the course of a weekend, 3 days. He basically held them captive, tortured them, and when he finally had enough fun with them, he killed them, and then got rid of them. If proven in a court of law, he is one of the most vile. Just he'll be talked about for a long time for his offending if he's convicted. He is royally like one of the. It's one of the ones like we talk about the guys from the 70s and 80s and 90s. Yeah, people will still be talking about Rex Heuermann in like 20 years. Hey, Red Like Wine, how are you? I think it's pretty well known now what happened to Jack and Lily. I think the police have made their sort of little hints to everyone of what they're looking for. So I think the answers are there. They just got to put it together and figure out what happened. But yeah, I think there's enough little tidbits that the Canadian Mounties have released to push people in a certain direction, at least for now. It might change. Who knows? Investigations do ebb and flow, but right sort of now, that's the way it looks. Mimi said he didn't make a plan list, so that wasn't... No, he did. Oh, yes, he did. Oh, yes, he did. Hold on. If you've never seen it, Rex Heuermann Super Seating Bail Application. It's in this document here. Sorry, my chair's awful, guys. Sorry. Should be at the end. There it is. Here's one of the things they found on an old hard drive. This was his planning document, HK 2002-04, and you read some of the things. So DS is dump site, TRG means target, and look, T1 Megan ? Megan? There was a victim called Megan. Supplies, booty. Yes, he needs a supply of booty. No, he got the booty, but he killed them. No, booties, like for your feet. Lye acid, police scanner, rope cord, saw/cutting tools, hair nets, photo film, burn can, foam drain cleaner, body wash/wipes, tarps and drop cloths, medical gloves, bag tape, large electrical clips, ratcheted cargo strap for when you put the body in the trailer. And look, all the things he thought about, problems. He did. So he listed hair and fibers, right? Look, hair and fibers are a problem. But he still decided to use burlap. Now, I know you can find fibers on just about everything, but at the same time, there must be something better that you could have done. Actually, one of the good ones that I don't want to give people a planning document, but Tupperware is often cleanable. That's the way I'm gonna say that. His brain should be donated to science to learn about why he did this. Yeah. Are you sure? Should we send the Scottish police around? What are the Scottish police called? The Irish police are called the Gardaí, right? Or the Gardaí. What are the Scottish police called? I don't know what they're called. But yeah, there you go. If you've never seen this before, you see like the pre-prep, prep, post-event. It's nice that he can't spell. For an architect, he can't spell the word destroy. He put an I in it. It's an E. And apparently, he's a very good architect, apparently. Look, recon of reports. They're looking for video cameras. Target 1, info cell, voicemail. And here, body prep. So when you prep the body to get rid of it, wash the body inside and all cavities. Remove trace evidence, fingerprints/hair. I'd love to see you do that on a dead woman. How exactly would you do that? Would you vacuum her? Like, how would you do such a thing? Remove trace DNA. What are you going to do? Hose out her vagina with a freaking pressure washer? What exactly are you going to do? I mean, I know he cut some of them up, so I don't think you can pressure wash out girls' vaginas, but remove ID marks, tattoos / marks, remove marks from torture. There you go. Remove head and hands and package for transport. There you go. This guy. There you go. Exhibit B of Rex Hillman, found on an old computer in his home. Yeah, it is disturbing. This is the type of crap he went into. Like this is what he needed to commit a murder, and he committed several if proven. You know, look at all these items. Things to remember. Sound travels. Control the amount of air in and out to control the noise made. Then we found out he had a giant gun safe. We found he had this giant gun safe down in the basement that had a giant freaking iron door on it. Like, you know, like a safe. I mean, you think of that, now you think of the noise thing. It's possible those girls were held down there for a period of time. It's crazy what he did to them. And they say here, get sleep before hunt. Too tired creates problems. He also misspelt creates. There's an E after the T here. All right, Mr. I'm a architect. You can also use English correctly too. For someone who has a university degree, I'm concerned about how you got through university. Yeah, use push pins to hang drop cloths from the ceiling, not tape. No tape. Use heavy, and he misspelt heavy too. He spelt it Hevey. Heavy spelt H. Now I'm going to misspell it Heavy. Probably I'm misspelling now, but that's okay. But yeah, he misspelt that too. Rope for neck. Light rope broke under stress of being tightened. This is not a suggestion. This is something he did before, where he had a light rope and it broke under the stress of being tightened on the woman. That's insane. He had her wrapped around the neck and the rope broke under the stress of trying to strangle her, like trying to asphyxiate her. Like, it's just mind-boggling. Mimi said, I'd never heard, seen it, just heard about the list. It's right here. You can read it for yourself. This is from the evidence. There you go. You can read the entire thing. This is from Exhibit B. So this is this is exactly what they found on his computer. So there you go. He even wants cat litter. Probably to mop up any blood, I'm guessing, or fluids. Trace source of supplies. Okay. Yeah. He says here, like in his pre-prep, he has to inspect his vehicle, engage his target 1, recon on dump site 1, locate a second dump site, check the weather reports, recon vid cameras, recon pickup zone for vid cameras. And then these quotes here are actually from a book. So it's I actually have a copy right here, but I can't get it. But it is a book on serial killers. They might have a photo of it up here, actually, if I go further up. Yeah, there you go. John Douglas. Here, there's a couple. I've got the other one that's here. It's not this one. So the one I've got is Manhunt, and it is quoted in this document. So I actually bought Manhunt so I could read it and find out like what they were talking about. And what they're talking about is down here. It's up here. Sorry. Yeah, so the book, it's in the planning document, he says like, look at the painting, what, why, and who. And that relates to page 19 of, I'm pretty sure it's Mindhunter. It is, yeah. Mindhunter, where John Douglas was at the FBI, he always advised his agents, if you want to understand the artist, aka the perpetrator, you have to look at the painting, aka the victim. And it says, we've looked at many paintings over the years and talked extensively to most accomplished artists. And there's another bit here about what they call sexual substitution. And it is quoted in his document that this is something apparently he does. So who knows if he actually has sex with these women, or he uses props to simulate sexual activity with these women because he doesn't want to, I guess, leave DNA inside them or whatever. But yeah, sexual substitution. You can read about that in Mindhunter if you haven't read the book. So it was typed on a really old computer. I believe it's from around 2002. They found it on the hard drive of that. It looked like it had been deleted, but it was still available in what they call unallocated space. So unallocated space is when you delete something, that space becomes free. But if you're a forensic examiner, you have tools which can actually explore things that look like they're empty, but there's still data there that you can piece together and pull things from because it hasn't been overridden. So the way hard drives work is when you delete something, that space becomes available or unallocated. Then you can write over it with new information. That doesn't always delete things either. It sort of can move it around on the hard drive while it finds places for what you're using now. But there are programs which do this cycling, and Rex Heuermann is said to have used it. They're called a shredder, and what they do is they write and delete, write and delete, write and delete over and over and over and over and over. And what that does is it basically keeps tearing that information up into tiny little pieces and getting rid of it. So when you first delete something, even though it says it's empty here, underneath that information could still be there because nothing has been written over the top. But when you do it over and over and over and over like that, those traces of that information get like further and further apart and more deleted. That's the simple way of explaining it. So yeah, there you go. So that's how they found this document, because it was deleted, but it was still available in that unallocated area because nothing had been written over it at the time. So forensic tech just popped it in the software, picked it up, probably like 5 minutes. They probably found it. So you can find all sorts of things, I promise. I used to do forensic hard drive work, and I used to look for things for people, mostly like family photos or things like that. Like someone's like, oh my God, I deleted the hard drive and it's got all my family photos. I need to get them back. So you can do these scans to try and find it. But the things you would pull up out of the hard drive, like things they deleted 4.5 years ago, things that were deleted like when the computer was made and stuff, like you can find some really interesting stuff on hard drives. That's why they crush hard drives and break them. That's why when you dispose of hard drives, you're either supposed to magnetically wipe them or you feed them through a crusher, which destroys them, because you can still get things even years later. Sean said old. Yeah, yes, he did have that too. I think that's in this document. Let's go up. No, that's not it. It's up here somewhere. That's something else. It's up here somewhere. There's a map of where the bodies were found, by the way. This is Jessica Taylor, Maureen Brainerd Barnes, Melissa Bartholomew, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello. Let's go up here. There should be a list of words that he searched. It's not that one. There's his car, by the way. There's that vehicle that we've all heard about. There should be a thing in here on like things he searched online. Maybe it's in the other one. There's another document. There's the DNA results, matching it to Sandra Costilla. There's the DNA results for it. And Megan Waterman, Maureen Brainerd Barnes, Jessica Taylor, Megan Waterman, Amber Costello. And you see where they found the DNA and where they tested and who they matched to. So that was nuclear DNA SP testing, STP, SMP. Yeah. I'm just trying to see if there's the search terms in this one. I thought they were. Maybe I'll scroll past it. Let's have a look. I would have thought they were in here. Maybe not. There's a couple of these. This is the superseding one that came out later when Sandra Costilla, when they did the charges for that one. And then there was another one before that, or a couple. Each time they recharged, they did another one. So there's been a few. They're going to find a lot more. They did find a lot more. We just don't know what it is. They went to a storage locker and they raided a storage locker where he kept things. But I don't think any of us really know what they found in there. But they took away a lot of stuff from that storage locker. So I don't know what was in there, but we'll find out at some point. All right. Yeah, send me a photo, SP Mama. I want to see. They always find old. Well, he had a fascination for many bad things, many bad things, many bad search terms. Hold on, let me see if I find the other document. It might be this one. Might be this one. This one has a cell phone data. So this is cell phone data, sector data. So this is cell phone here. These are all the ones that linked him to New York City, near his office. So they show you how close it was. Let's go down here. They should, yeah. All right, here you go. There it is. So I can't read any of these out, but you can have a bit of a read of what he was looking up online. This is Rex Human's search history for his naked lady searches or naked CSAM right there. So pretty brutal. And the other night when I was telling you about the documentary, I said some of these search results are very similar to his own daughter. You can guess which ones on this list are very similar to his own daughter. Now, I have nothing to prove that he ever did anything like that, and she says no, but it's a little strange, some of the things here. Yeah, she had a wildberry one for breakfast, apparently, so she was somewhat happy, somewhat. It went all white again, didn't it? I look like I got the halo again. I don't think right now. I think right now, just trying to get her to eat would be something good. So there's some more there. And these were the search terms related to the Lisk investigation. So these are the type of things he was keeping up with the coverage of it. You guys can see that's what they found on his burner phone. So nothing right now, I would say, for Mrs. Ping. She's got a lot of things she could eat or we could get for her, but it's a nice thought and I appreciate it. But maybe later, maybe when she comes home, and because you got to understand, this is a woman who hasn't been able to eat like her favorite foods for over a year. So she's going to be wanting to try like everything when she gets home. She'll want to try every bit of thing that she can find. Yeah, that bit doesn't make sense to me. I mean, the only thing I can relate it to is a lot of them are redhead and CSAM, and his daughter has, reddish hair. She was young at the time when these killings took place. She was between 10 and 13. I mean, it's not a hard bridge to climb and get to. But other than that, I don't understand the CSAM searches because, as far as we know, he doesn't have any child victims that we know of. But is there child victims out there? Because it's strange. His normal profile is petite brunette, although a couple of blondes are in there too. But any kind of like petite small girl. But the CSAM searches are a little odd because unless he gets linked to, I don't know. I'm not sure, but it's a little odd, little strange. Mimi says, so do you think him having this plan was just for himself to remember or to train someone else? I don't think, as far as we know right now, I don't think anyone else even knew, but I'm always willing to be, proven wrong, but I haven't seen anything like that. They did the documentary too on Peacock recently. It's called House of Horrors. It's called Gilgo Beach House of Horrors or something. You can find it on Peacock. Wendy R says, so glad to hear Mrs. Ping is able to eat something. I know, I think she was so excited. She's like, I'm so sick of having ice cups. So that's all I give her right now is like chipped ice in a cup. And she was so sick of it. She's like, please give me some, like, she likes Haribo. She's like, can I just suck on the Haribo so I can have something that tastes like food? That, she was like, I don't want water anymore. I'm so sick of ice. So yeah, she's pretty happy. She had some chicken broth as well today. Chicken broth. She got to have some soup earlier today. So she was pretty happy. She's gonna be a happy girl. She gets to eat something. Peach's toddler. I think the new information on Peaches suggests that it may not be Rex Heuermann. There was a press conference a couple of months ago, and they identified who Peaches is now. So I don't think we should call her Peaches anymore. We should use her real name. And she was ex-military. But I mean, I would want to see some evidence that she was escorting. Rex Heuermann almost solely went after escorts. So I would want to see the facts that she actually did that or was doing that in New York City at the time. As far as we know, she worked at a doctor's surgery. So they said in that press conference that they're open to other ideas outside of Rex Heuermann. So I think they think it might be someone else that killed Peaches. They're not saying like 100%, but they're just saying that some of the things don't match. Unless they get it more. So one of the things they put a call out for in that press conference was anyone who worked with her or anyone who knew her in New York City. And I reckon they're trying to find out whether she was escorting at the time. And they may not have that information at the moment. I reckon they're trying to find out whether she was doing that. And if she was, then you get more of a connection to Rex Heuermann. But if she wasn't and they can't figure that out, that may be a problem. So they put a big call out saying anyone who worked with her around the time she was in New York, they want to speak to them. Anyone she knew, worked with, met with, was an associate, anyone. They want to hear what they have to say about what her life was like in New York. So yeah, I can play a little bit of that if you haven't seen it. It's really interesting. Hold on. Peaches. Update. Yeah, it was about a month ago. I'm going to take you to News 12. So this is News 12 in Long Island. Great news organization out there. Done a lot of work on the Long Island serial killer case, and they've done a lot of reporting on it. Got a bunch of good journalists that work out at News 12 in Long Island. So I'm going to show you just a little bit from this.
Detective Captain Stephen Fitzpatrick. Commissioner,
Oh,
the New York Field Office, Chris Rea, as well as the Special Agent in charge of the New York Criminal Division, Leslie Bakshies, to provide some details about the investigation.
Today is the any information leading to an arrest and hopefully a conviction of the person that did these horrendous acts. We are offering a $25,000 Crime Stoppers Award. So please, anybody with information, after you hear it from Detective Captain Fitz, please give us any information you have. There's a $25,000 Crime Stoppers reward. I'm now going to turn it over to the district attorney.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you also to the FBI who has helped us so much in this investigation, the Suffolk County Police Department. Today is a bittersweet day. Today, after decades, we are finally going to be able to tell you the identities of two victims back from 1997. The mother's name was Tanya. The baby's name was Tatiana. You'll get more detailed information on their identities from Captain Fitzpatrick.
there you go. Tanya and Tatiana. So Tatiana was the baby and Tanya was the mum. So I don't think we should call her Peaches anymore. She was ex-military. She deserves her respect and her title. And we shouldn't call her Peaches anymore. I don't think that's right. She was a servicewoman, and yeah, we should give her the proper respect. Even though she's no longer here. But yeah, I think that monkey will follow her forever. Unfortunately, the Peaches thing. But her name is Tanya. So yeah, beautiful names, Tanya and Tatiana. And there's a photo of the baby coming up at some point too.
The reality is our work has just begun. Knowing the identities of the mom and the little baby is just a first step to help us get to solving these murders. Having their identities helps us now say to the public, please, if you knew Tanya, if you worked with her, if you met her at the grocery store, you had an interaction with her, please contact us and let us know. Every little thing we can find out about her leading up to her death will help us to solve this horrific, horrific crime. We stand here together, as the commissioner said. If it wasn't for our partners, we would never have gotten to this moment. We want to find out more about who they are and where they were and where they were coming from. My office is ready. My cold case unit and homicide prosecutors have worked alongside the Nassau County Police Department, the Suffolk Police Department, the FBI, to get us to this day. For the past few years, my prosecutors have helped piece together unsolved homicides and identify perpetrators. That work included prosecuting a known serial killer we connected with a more than 50-year-old homicide in one of the oldest DNA cases in the county. Solving aging cases like these are extraordinarily challenging, especially as evidence and people's memories fade in time. But we will never give up. We will never give up. Not on an unsolved homicide, not on Tanya and Tatiana.
Yeah, this footage you're seeing, this file footage in the background, this is when they found her back in 1997. And that's what you're seeing. Yep, that is true. And yeah, this stuff you're seeing in the background of the press conference, 1997, that's when they found part of her in that Tupperware container. So
we will follow every lead. We will pull at every thread until we can get justice for this mother and this child. Tremendous work has been done already to get us to this point. I look forward to continuing this partnership and determining what happened to Tanya and Tatiana. Thank you.
All right, good morning. I'm Christopher Rea, the Assistant Director in charge of the New York Field Office. I first want to start by thanking the DA as well as the Police Commissioner in allowing us to be part of this press conference today, as well as being able to share
Her torso is I'd like to thank everybody for being here today to help us in this pursuit for justice. As you see up on the screens right now is the infamous tattoo of the peaches. Today, we'd like to provide an update on these identities of the two homicide victims who have historically been referred to by the nicknames Peaches and Baby Doe. The first victim was an African-American female. She was located over 27 years ago. On June 28, 1997, her torso was found in the Hempstead Lake State Park, which is located within Lakeview, New York. This victim had the tattoo you see up on the screen on her chest. It's a heart-shaped peach with a bite out of it with a drop coming from it. Based on this tattoo, the victim has commonly been referred to as Peaches. The second victim was Baby Doe. Baby Doe was the second victim discovered just over 14 years ago. On April 11th, 2011, she was found near Ocean Parkway in Babylon, New York, and has been included with the Gilgo Beach murders.
So one of the areas that they said that Tatiana and Tanya might have been associated with is actually the opposite way that they think that Rex Heuermann came from to dump the bodies for his victims. So that Ocean Parkway is sort of like a loop. It sort of comes around the coastline and goes back into the city. And the area where they think that these two were picked or maybe picked up from or sort of like they were more associated with is the opposite end of Ocean Parkway. So they think they may have come from the opposite way, as where Rex Heuermann came from they believe from Massapequa came from the other side. Now, don't know for sure because no one really knows, but it's interesting that the majority of Rex Heuermann's victims were from that side, and they believe that possibly, maybe, this one is from the opposite side of that map. So, yeah. So there you go. And there's a little photo in here, I think, of when. Yeah, that's where they found on Ocean Parkway. That's when they found the bodies or body parts and the child. And then if we go up here, there's a photo of Tatiana and Tanya. Last name Jackson. Tatiana's last name is Dykes. And there's a photo of them in the background. There's Tanya Denise Jackson in her military uniform. And then if we go down here, there should be another photo of her car. Do they put it up? Oh, maybe they didn't. There was another photo of her car. It's like an old car that they're sort of looking for. Let me have a look. There's another photo of like a meteor or a comet or something. Hold on. Features. Tanya. There you go. There's a photo of Tanya and Tatiana there. There's the old photo from the FBI that we've seen years ago. I wonder why this photo looks like this. This looks like decomp. That's why it's all brown and it has like this discoloration here. But there's another photo that looks way better. And I'm not sure if that's a digital recreation. But there you go. There's that car. It's a Geo Storm 1991. And I think they're wondering what happened to it. Where did it go? So I think they've not found it. I'd have to go back and check. I've been stuck in a court case for 8 weeks, but I know they're interested in this 1991 Geo Storm and what happened to it. So there you go. There you go. So that's your Peaches update about it. So if you haven't seen it, connected to Rex, and that's the funeral. So this is when they laid Tanya full military rights at the funeral, and they, here you see the officer giving her family the American flag that you get when they bury certain people, like military or other people. And yeah, so that was the funeral. Apparently it was held a few months ago, and they were laid to rest in Alabama at a military cemetery, I think. So they gave her rights, and yeah, and that's the Tupperware container that they found her torso in. So back in 1997, that's what they were lifting out in that file footage where you see the coroner lifting that heavy item. It was this this green Tupperware container, and it had her torso in it. And then they found the rest of her on Ocean Parkway. So yeah, it's an interesting. Well, it's a very sad case, but trying to link it to Rex Heuermann is difficult because you need to know whether she was escorting, because that's how he found his victims. And if you can't figure that out, then what's the connection to Rex Heuermann? And if it's not Rex Heuermann, who did do this? And if it is someone else, well, geez, they picked a really bad spot to dump the remains of the baby and the rest of Tanya, because they basically dumped it in another serial killer's dumping ground. So that was very silly, although it's remained unsolved for like 30 years, so maybe not that silly. My understanding is that when she joined the military, the family issues became sort of strained, and they just thought she'd walked off and started living her life somewhere, and just never came back home or talked to them. And they said that was pretty typical for her, and that's sort of what she was like. So when they didn't hear from her, they sort of didn't really question it. And it wasn't until they started digging into the case with Othram and other people, genetic genealogists, that they became aware that this victim was most likely their relative. So they just thought she was off living her life and just didn't want to contact them. So that's a very hard phone call to get after 30 years, that this case that everyone knows, it was actually your relative, is one of the victims that they found. Not of Rex Heuermann, just a victim that they found. So, yeah, now mum and daughter laid to rest together. Yeah, it's somewhere proper, not separated. Her torso found, on the other side, and then her other stuff found with the baby. No, they're together, and hopefully they can get some peace now and be, properly laid to rest. So that's good. Yeah, so I don't know too much about their family issues or why it was like that. I just know that it was. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I was like, shouldn't have had Rego and a VIN number, or is they just can't find it? Like they're like, we know it was registered at one point, but we don't know what happened to it after that. Maybe someone dumped it, set fire to it, pushed it into a lake. Who knows? So I think they never found. My memory's a little spotty, but did they never find her head? I have a feeling they never found her head. Let me double check. Maybe Ping's talking out of his butt, but I have a funny. Yeah, her head has never been found. So Tanya's head has never been located. They found her torso and some arms and legs, but her actual head, her skull, and part of her neck have never been located. So that I wonder if they think maybe it's in the car somewhere. I don't know, but they've never been able to locate her head, unfortunately. So there you go. Interesting updates. Just let me double check something from you guys. Yeah, thank you to my friend who sent in that donation. That was very nice. Member for 6 months. Thank you, my friend. It doesn't go unnoticed. I notice the people who have the consecutive numbers of each month for being a member. I appreciate it. Help support the channel. Carolina, it's just a super chat. Thank you. And this one, they're going to find a lot more. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. And John has sent a super sticker. Thank you, sweetheart. I appreciate it. It's very kind of you. Everyone's been very kind. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think we're going to wind up. It's almost 3 p.m. in the afternoon. I got to do some things before I head back to court tomorrow. So tomorrow will be day 32 of the Aaron Patterson trial. I will be back in the evening with your nightly podcast for the Aaron Patterson trial, bringing you just the facts and exactly what happened in court. You guys get what was said in court, I give it to you. So it's the closest thing you can get to being there. You guys get the actual sort of conversations and the questions and just the raw data. We'll have time to do like the fluffy, glossy, have chimes in the background kind of podcast. And this podcast is brought to you by Nights with Ping. You'll have that after the verdict. We're working on it right now. It's 10 episodes, covers the whatever many weeks of the trial it'll be, and it should be about 2 episodes per week. So 2 episodes per week of the trial. So episodes 1 and 2 focus on week 1, episodes 3 and 4 focus on week 2, and so on. And it'll have a mixture of my personal notes, the evidence, and my court notes. So you'll get like a little bit of all three. So there you go. And some evidence, hopefully. Yeah, you can say whatever you think. As soon as I'm on here telling you what the verdict of the trial is, we are free to say whatever. Can tell you anything I want. Just about. There's a couple of things that I can never tell you, but there's 99.5% of things I can tell you and talk about and have an opinion about. Yes, have a great day, everyone out there. It's been nice to have a bit more of a relaxed couple of shows where I don't have to have and just read notes for like 2 hours. It's sounds easy, but it's really not easy just to talk like non-stop for 2 hours and just run through all these notes. It's a bit of a learned skill. So Retired Aaron says, thanks, Eva. I will. She's doing better today. I'm happy they finally took her off the no food thing because I think she was just like, give me the food, please. Poor girl. She hasn't eaten anything in it was 2 weeks before today. She hadn't had any food at all. So, Sean, I appreciate it. Thank you, buddy. I just saw that pop up. I appreciate it. Sean always likes to buy me some lunch for the court week. So I appreciate it, bud. It actually does help out because I've been having to eat at court recently because I go to court in the morning and then I'm there all day and then I leave court and I go to the hospital. I'm there for like 2-3 hours. Then I come home and I do my notes and then I do the notes and then I do the podcast and then I get out of the podcast and I try and eat something and then I go to sleep and then do it all over again. I do that for 5 days of Monday to Friday. But I've been having to eat at lunchtime because by the time I get out of the podcast at night, it's about 10:30 p.m. at night. I have to sort of wind down for the night and then get some sleep and then wake up at 5-6 a.m. and do it all over again. That I've not been able to eat at night very well. So I've been eating at lunchtime. So I appreciate it, Sean, which is weird. I don't eat it during the day normally, but I've been having to because I just don't have a choice. Blaze says, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Hope you guys had fun tonight. Hope it was fun to hang out. Oh, we did a video chat last night. So last night she was feeling well enough that we could do like the video chat. So I was like showing her the cats and the cats were like smooching the screen because I could hear mum. And they're like, oh, it's that lady we haven't seen in like 3 weeks. Who is that? I think I remember her. So they were all excited to hear her voice and see her on the screen. And they kept licking the screen and like trying to smooch it. They're like, there she is. We see her. So they're all excited and happy to see her. So yeah, we got to video chat last night, which was pretty good. So she's got one of those foldable phones, like the Galaxy Flip or whatever it's called, the one that goes like that. Not the one that opens like a book, but the one that goes like this. So she sets it in like the L shape, and she just puts it on her chest, and then she just like leaves it there, so she can lay in the hospital bed and talk to the camera, and I can talk to her, so she can see me, and then yeah, she can talk without having to hold the phone or anything. Brilliant. It's brilliant. Those foldable phones are really good for some people. So, yeah. Packed your lunch for tomorrow. Yeah. I appreciate it, Sean. I would if we had any storage facilities at Co-op, but we just don't. The media don't. We get some help, but it doesn't extend that far. It's because most of the journalists and that have their own things outside, or they're staying at hotels locally or whatever. It's a whole bunch of things. A whole bunch of things. I'll explain more after we get out of trial. Hey, Lindy. Hey, sweetheart. Yeah, she got to do a video chat. Chipmunk says, thank you, I will. Oh, it's, here. There's no S, so a lot of people put an S after Sunday. A lot of people put an S here and get it wrong. There is no S, it's just sundaywithping@gmail.com. So there you go. It's right here. It's right here. It's right here. That's my email. You can email me. All right. Oh, I did. You showed me the well, the other person did, was showing me the thing from the work, the molded into the whatchamacallit, like a statue. It's pretty cool. It's that's pretty cool. They said it was from like the old work. And I see a USM thing in there. Cool. I wonder why they do stuff like that, where they melt down all the old electronics and turn it into a statue. It's weird. All right. I love you all. This is my email for my email. Don't be sending like anything. It's not this email is not connected. Like, I'm not saying someone was going to send a donation or anything, but there's been a couple of times where people have tried to input this email and try to send it for PayPal or something. Like, no, that won't work. That's just a standalone email for the show. So just, yeah, I was going to send it to someone who I don't know who it is. Someone that has a PayPal in that email address. That's not me. But not saying you were going to do that. Just saying that I didn't want you to do that and then get stuck or something. SP Mama said, national secrets. Look up the Lawrence Livermore. I will. Thank you, SP Mama, for the photo. That's cool as hell. Did they just make one, or they made like 20 of them and gave them out to different workers? That'd be interesting, because the whole thing fit in that statue. It feels like maybe they made like 20 of them and gave them to different people who work there for like 30 years or whatever. That's sort of how it feels. They probably eat lettuce. Who, chipmunks? They might. I don't know if we're allowed to. SP Mama, is it okay to share the photo or no? It might be private, guys. They might not want to advertise it. I think it might have been just for my eyes. I'll see what they say. They may or may not be okay with it. We'll see. We'll see what they say before we go. Oh, yes. Okay. All right. I always like to double check. How do I get this to download? Okay. There you go. This is what she is talking about. There. And it's from the Lawrence Livermore National Lab. They melted it down, the hard drives and stuff, and made it into this thing. It's 10,000 hard drives in this thing. They turned it into like a statue-y thing. All right. Yeah, we're going to get out of here. Love you all. Thanks, Sean. I appreciate it, buddy. You're very kind. All right. Let's get out of here for another week. Next week, tomorrow, day 9,532 million of the Aaron Patterson trial. I'll be on about 8:30 p.m. Australian time in the evening with your daily update for day 32. What are we going to witness tomorrow? I don't know. Maybe closing statements. That would be interesting. We'd be finally getting to that part of the trial, like starting in those final processes. It's very exciting for me because I've never seen that in person. So we're gonna creep towards those final few steps over the next week or two. We're sort of just we'll get there eventually. Yeah, night all. See you later. Yeah, I did, Sean. I looked at a couple of them. I'll email you about it. Love you all. Good night. Bye.